There was no answer, not at first. Then a stream of words came pouring out, which to Heikki sounded like a load of bragging, and he hissed, "What total bullshit!" adding needlessly, he admitted as much himself, that the man looked like a bloody Chinaman. "Ma, Hambrachen, hate China!" the beggar yelled at him. Then he punched Heikki with his damaged hand, and even though there was no skill or technique there, the blow carried an unexpected authority. Heikki was bleeding from the mouth and swearing profusely in Finnish as he staggered away down into the tunnelbana at Central Station. The beggar was next seen back in his familiar neighborhood, very drunk and clearly feeling ill. Saliva ran from his mouth, and he was holding his throat and muttering, "Very tired. Must find Dharamsala and Lawa. Very good Lawa. Do you know?" He never waited for an answer, but crossed Ringvägen like a sleepwalker, and soon after that he threw an unlabeled bottle onto the ground and disappeared among the trees and bushes of Tantolunden. A light rain fell overnight, and in the morning a north wind was blowing. By 8, the wind had died down, and the skies had cleared, and the man was seen on his knees, leaning up against a birch tree. On the street, preparations were underway for the Midnattslop race that coming night. The neighborhood was in a festive mood. The beggar was dead. No one cared or knew that this strange man had lived a life of unimaginable hardship and heroism, still less that he had only ever loved one woman, and that she, too, in another time, had died in devastating solitude. Part 1. The Unknown. 15th to 25th August. Many dead never have a name, and some not even a grave. Others get one white cross among thousands of others, as in the military cemeteries in France. Some few have a whole monument dedicated to them, like the tomb of the unknown soldier at the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, or in the Alexander Garden in Moscow. Chapter 1. 15th of August. The first person to pluck up the courage to cross the street and go up to the tree, only to discover that the man was dead, was the writer Ingela Duva. It was 11:30 by then. The smell was terrible. Flies and mosquitoes were buzzing about, and Duva was not being entirely truthful when she later said there was something deeply moving about the figure. The man had vomited and suffered from diarrhea. Instead of empathy, she felt anxiety and contemplated with dread the prospect of her own death. Even Sandra Lindevall and Samir Emman, the police officers who arrived at the scene 15 minutes later, looked upon their assignment as some sort of punishment. They photographed the man and examined the immediate surroundings, but their search did not extend to the slope below Sinkensweg, where a half bottle of alcohol lay with a thin layer of grit in the bottom. Even though neither of them thought the incident had crime written all over it, they examined his head and chest with care. They found no trace of violence, nor any other sign that pointed to the cause of death, apart from the thick drool which had trailed from his mouth. Having discussed the matter with their superiors, they decided not to cordon off the area. While waiting for an ambulance to come and take the body away, they went through the pockets of the filthy, shapeless, and quite unsuitable down jacket. They found many pieces of the translucent paper in which hot dogs are sold in the street, some coins, a 20-kroner note, and a receipt from an office supplies store on Hundsgatan, but no ID card or other papers that might have allowed them to identify the dead man. They supposed it would not be difficult to find out who he was. There was no shortage of distinctive features, but like so much else, this proved to be